Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up, we head to Hessle where vandals have targeted the skate park. And the Reverend Ian Robinson delivers our weekly reflections. And my guest tonight is Beverly Gormley from Heritage Lincolnshire, here to talk about the forthcoming open days. Welcome to Estuary News. I'm Emma Lingard. Now it's time for the local news headlines.
Humberside police say the death of a man whose body was found in the Gypsyville area of Hull on Sunday is unexplained. The male found on Essex Street has not yet been identified but is believed to have been in his 30s. Results of a post-mortem examination have proved inconclusive and further tests are to be carried out. Police are appealing for witnesses following the theft of 98 rolls of cavity insulation from Wickes building suppliers in Hull. Offenders forced entry to the store on Leeds Road between 4:30 p.m. on Sunday and 7 a.m. on Monday. They made away with goods worth over £2,000. Elsewhere, the Chief Executive of Louth Town Hall says following the hall's renewed popularity, they are to plough money into improving the community hub. They have a pot of around £250,000 to spend on a range of projects, including investing in a video editing suite. Andy Howlett says the community is at the heart of the hall.
We work with community groups all day and every day, so this place is in use from 9 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night with local and community groups, because we went out to get the partnerships, to get them to want to come here, to get the focus back. And yes, it is hard work, but you've got to have a backup program that will enable the place to run.
And another TV crew pitches up in Hull. Scenes for a forthcoming two-part ITV drama Dark Angel are being filmed in the city's Old Town today. The sinister tale follows a story of murderer Mary Ann Cotton, who is believed to have killed 21 people, including 11 of her 13 children. Well, if you have any stories for us, you can contact us on 01472 315561, email us news@estuary.tv or Facebook or Twitter @estuarytv. But until next time, goodbye.
Mindless vandals have put a popular skate park in Hessle out of action. The facility, which is popular with youngsters, was targeted a few weeks ago. We sent a reporter to find out what had been done.
Children in Hessle are losing out after the town's skate park, put in place because local children complained about the lack of leisure facilities, was targeted again by vandals.
Well, we do get isolated incidents of vandalism to the skate park from time to time, but this particular instance is really bad, very serious. As you can see, the top of the ramp has been damaged, the side ramp has been damaged, and it's just got to be put right.
The consequences of the vandalism are clear to see and it has been reported to the police. The councillors at Hessle Town Council aren't happy about the ongoing spate of vandalism at the park and have branded the vandals as idiots.
Well, I can only say it's mindless. I don't know whether David wants to add anything.
Yeah, I agree with David. I mean, this is unlike to be the people who use the facility. This is some idiots who've been here of an evening over the weekend. There's been bottles of broken glass scattered about. They've obviously lit a fire and caused damage. And whilst there's a cost to getting it repaired, what is really annoying is it's depriving youngsters of Hessle of facilities during the summer holidays.
The Town Council estimates that it will cost around £1,000 to repair the damage to the skate park and are exploring options regarding putting CCTV cameras on the site. But in cash-strapped times, it's money the council will struggle to find.
It is, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's a facility for the kids of Hessle, and we've got to keep maintaining it. So, no doubt, one way or another, we will find it. But why?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, just a waste. I mean, we are looking at putting CCTV in, as a means of trying to deter this kind of attack in the future. But again, that involves an expense which we'd much rather avoid spending money on.
The Town Council are appealing to the local community for any information and have a strong message for anyone who was involved in the vandalism.
We're appealing for any information. If we can find out who did it, we would be pursuing those for the cost of repairing it. And let's face it, the kind of people who've done this kind of damage really ought to be picked up and investigated by the police, because if they're doing this sort of thing, what else are they up to? So it's depriving the community, but we want this stamped out.
You're watching Estuary News. Still to come, we head to Caister for the weekly reflections, and we'll have the latest local sports news. It's fast approaching that time of year when around the country places open for people to explore and celebrate the architecture, culture and history as part of the National Heritage Open Days. In Lincolnshire, once again, over 100 events are being held, and joining me to tell us more is Beverly Gormley, Cultural Events Officer at Heritage Lincolnshire. Welcome, Beverly, to the studios. And like we said, it seems like yesterday when you were here telling us about last year.
Oh, it does. It's flown by.
Just to put it into context, what are the Open Days all about?
The Heritage Open Days in Lincolnshire are all about the public getting out, seeing something new, taking the family, enjoying the heritage that Lincolnshire is absolutely full of,
Yes.
bursting with heritage and history, and really just seeing something different that they might not see every time they visit their local heritage site.
Okay, and the theme in Lincolnshire this year is the Tudors, isn't
Yeah.
it? Why was that chosen?
Well, we've been doing this for over 20 years, and for the first few years it was just Heritage Open Days, there wasn't
Right.
a theme. And then we realised that we needed to keep it fresh every year to keep people coming back. They might go to the same place every year, but
Yeah.
at least they'll see something different. So we change the theme each year. And we've done the Victorians, we've done the Romans, we've done trade and travel, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So this year we picked on the Tudors.
Okay.
They're the victims this year.
So, I mean, you said there are so many places, buildings, sites of history that I suppose those themes, you can tap into them anyway, can't you?
You can. And this year we've found that we have a lot of pumping stations in the county, and they're always really, really popular.
Right.
But you can't really tie in those into a Tudor theme. So a lot of different sites have tried to think outside the box a bit more.
Right.
There's one that comes to mind at the Petwood Hotel in Woodall Spa. They're doing a talk and a tour about mock Tudor, because Woodall Spa is a mock Tudor village.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, people are thinking around the subject. And
Which is good. I mean, I mentioned there you've got over 100 events, haven't you? I mean, is that number growing each year?
It seems to be, yeah. Last year we had 113. This year, at last count, it was about 123. A lot of people have got the brochure, and there are just over 100 in there.
Right.
But we've had more events added since. So on the website, they're all
You've got
listed on
the
there.
full listings there.
Yeah.
So we've got lots of events. Lots of new events. I mean, can you think of any of the new ones that are taking place that caught your eye?
Oh, new ones. There are things like Holbeach Bunker, which is down in the south of the county. That's a Cold War bunker that's been opened up. The public can, have a hard hat and go down into that. But it's best really just to check the brochure and see, the new ones that have come up.
Yeah.
Just off the top of my head, I can't think of it.
No, well, I did go on to have a look actually, because I mean normally I participate in this, but I'm not this year. So I thought, well, yes, I can go and have a look at some of it. And one that did catch my eye that I know is now fully booked was Hainton Hall near Louth.
Yeah.
Is that a new one for this year?
That is for this year, yeah. That's been really popular. They were offering one tour of the grounds and through the chapel. That was fully booked, so we asked them to put on another one. That became fully booked. And now we've got a huge waiting list for, in case anyone drops out. So,
Wow.
yeah, maybe another one for next year.
Well, I was going to say, that would certainly be on my list and I think that's the key, that some of these places don't normally open to the public, do
Yeah,
they?
that's it. Yeah, we've got another one that's down south is Harloxton Manor, which is normally an American college.
Yes.
So there's students there, there are teachers there, But this year, you know, they're opening up for, I think they've got 4 tours going around there, which you wouldn't normally get in to see at all.
Do these people approach you saying, hey, we'd like to open our building, or do you have to go and find new events and places?
It's a bit of both, 50-50 really.
Right, yeah.
I think when we come up with a theme a year in advance, or more than a year in advance, we then start to contact sites that we think would fit that theme and would be part of the brochure.
Right.
But you do get a lot of people that say, I know something that we can do, you know, can we be involved?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit of both really.
Because obviously these open days stretch from Lincolnshire to North and North East Lincolnshire, don't they? So you are covering the whole old county, shall I say?
That's it,
Not to upset everybody.
Proper Lincolnshire.
That's it. So there is something for everybody, really, isn't there?
Oh, there are, right from near to the Humber Bridge, right down to Stamford and all the way across. There's something for everyone.
Brilliant. Well, you're going to stay with us because we're going to continue to talk more about these open days, and we'll explore maybe some of the other bits and pieces that you're going to. Don't go anywhere. Right, well, for the first time, I'm going to say this, but join me after the break when we'll have reflections with the Reverend Ian Robinson, and Beverly will stay with us to talk more about these Lincolnshire Heritage Open Days. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come, we have the weekly reflections and the latest local sports news. Well, still with me is Beverly Gormley, who's the Cultural Events Officer from Heritage Lincolnshire. Now, we were talking before that break, Beverly, obviously about the amount of events that are taking place over that. See, it's not a weekend, is it? Because it starts on the Thursday. Yeah. How many visitors, roughly, does it attract each year?
Well, last year we had 113 events and it attracted just over 26,000 visitors just to the county.
I mean, that's fabulous, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. We couldn't believe it was that number.
And I know you have feedback forms, don't you? Are a lot of the people coming from outside the county, or is it within?
I think mostly it's within the county, but you'll find people from the north will travel to the south and vice versa.
Yeah.
But we do get quite a lot of people from outside the county.
And that's good. Yeah. For tourism, isn't it?
Yeah.
Getting people in.
That's it. We worked out that it equated to about £800,000 brought into Lincolnshire just because of Heritage Open Days.
Which is phenomenal, isn't it? I mean, that is the big thing, you know. We talked about why, you know, you do this, but it's not just for people to learn about what's on the doorstep. It is hopefully to bring some revenue in.
Have a cup of tea at a local coffee shop or,
and buy bits and pieces, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, We've got a lot. We talked about some of the events. There's quite a few on our doorstep, isn't there, in North and North East Lincolnshire. Town halls, they're open, aren't they?
Yeah, they're open. I think they do something each year. They're one of the stalwarts, really, of Heritage Open Days, and they're doing their events again, maybe with a slight twist, a slight Tudor twist.
Yes.
We've got the Brig. They've got a Pennant to Flutter event where they're doing a mock Tudor banquet with a hog roast, and you can learn about jousting and falconry and all that sort of
sounds hog roast especially.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Get fed. Anything else on the doorstep?
There are quite a few churches that are open. The Stallingborough, Brocklesby. We've got brass rubbing. People can go and try their hand at that. But there are a lot of churches that are open, especially for this 10th to the 13th of September. They're taking tours, talks. So, you know, you might just pass this church every day and not think any more about it. So pop in and find out.
And I think that's the big thing, isn't it? That we always, you know, history is all around us, under our feet, isn't it? That, you can walk past these buildings and miss things. Talking about the themes, are you already planning for next year?
Yes, next year is already in the pipeline. It's Natural Lincolnshire, the theme for next year. So we're trying to involve more environmental organisations to put on events as well. Right. It's going to be a good one.
We'll all be preparing for that one. For you, I mean, what is there anything that caught your eye that you think, wow, that is fab this year? I mean, I know you've spoke for choice.
Yeah. I think if I was a visitor, I know that Heritage Lincolnshire, we've got 6 sites that we look after, and I'm involved myself in 3 of the events for those sites. And I tend to be more, I'm based more down in the south of the county.
Yes.
But I would say this year we've got a real coup in that all 5 National Trust properties are opening up for free on at least one of the days.
Right.
And that includes Grantham House, which isn't normally open to the public.
Okay.
So people can go along there.
One to look for. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, thank you ever so much for coming in. Hope it all goes well. And just to remind people, those events run from Thursday, September the 10th to Sunday, September the 13th. But go check the website for full details and to check about booking for a lot of those events as well. Now it's time for Reflections, and it's delivered by the Reverend Ian Robinson from St Peter's St Paul Church in Caister.
Perhaps like me, you watched the televised events surrounding VJ Day the other week, when we remembered the 70th anniversary of the ending of hostilities in the Far East at the end of the Second World War. I was particularly moved by the stories of some of the people who had experienced what was going on in that part of the world at that point in history. And of course, it's not long ago we were remembering VE Day, when we remembered the ending of the war in Europe. A few days ago, a group of us from Caister went to visit Beth Shalom, the National Holocaust Centre in Nottinghamshire. It's a wonderful place. The gardens are stocked with white roses, remembering those who lost their lives at that tragic point in our world's history. There's also a fantastic project where children can learn about those other children who survived, who were taken out of Germany on the Kindertransport. And of course, there's an exhibition explaining what led up to the Holocaust and what people suffered during that time. There's also an opportunity to hear survivors telling their tales, and they are remarkable stories. But one of the things that I'm most impressed with is the stories of those survivors and those people who spoke about their experiences in Japan. There's little hatred. There's perhaps bewilderment and sadness that human beings can do what they can do to one another. They also tell the stories at the Beth Shalom about people who helped those survive. And I think that reminds us that despite the evil that's going on, there is always hope. When we left Beth Shalom, we found it a bit difficult to explain what we felt about our visit. It didn't seem quite right to say we'd enjoyed it, although we did. But what we were all resolved to do was to remember. We remember how that visit has changed us, how we've learnt a lot, and how we make a resolution to keep that story going. And if we can keep those stories going, then there is hope for the world, for the future.
Joining me now to look back over the day's news is Erica Barker. Erica, what have you found today?
I'm going to start off with a serious story then. A single mother says she believes there should be greater restrictions placed on convicted paedophiles using the internet.
Okay.
Now this comes after, she says, a lorry driver who was jailed for sexually assaulting an 11-year-old girl has recently reactivated his Facebook profile after being released from prison on licence. She thinks people who have been convicted of sexual offences should have to forfeit their right to internet access.
Okay.
It needs to be monitored, really.
Is the man that's been convicted a local person?
Yes. I'm not going to go into too much details about him.
Yeah.
This is the case that's been ongoing, but I think this is her basically saying that something needs to be done,
that
but it just needs to be monitored. I mean, on here, they do have the law as well. So officers said single parents who are concerned about new partners can consider applying to find out if they have been convicted under the Child Sex Offenders Disclosure Scheme, also known as Sarah's Law. So that was brought in, so people can speak to them and ask what the history of who they want to date is.
Oh, it always gets a bit worrying, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, it does, definitely.
Okay, right, next story.
Okay, so the next one is a mountain of trouble for Waltham Parish councillors. Now what's happened is last month a lot of bricks and concrete was abandoned. It was abandoned
That was on the aerodrome,
it was,
isn't it?
yeah, so the aerodrome,
yes,
the former airstrip, so that's been abandoned there. Something needs to be done about it. It is a private landowner that has it, but they're calling on the council to do something about it, and a meeting is going to be held about this.
I did see that because I was staggered by the amount of concrete that has been dumped, and I know the dog walkers say it's pretty much along the whole strip, isn't it?
Yeah, so all the way down. I think there was something like a sink and a microwave.
Crazy people.
That's been left there as well.
Crazy.
So yeah, a big impact on the area.
30 seconds, one last quick story.
One last quick story. Oh, there's going to be a new upmarket Asian restaurant and cocktail bar in Hull City Centre. That's according to the Hull Daily Mail. Old Bank, the NatWest Bank, is going to become this. The whole conversation of banks being tended to cafe bars and pubs, etc.
Yeah.
It's quite a regular occurrence. But this bank is going to be an upmarket Asian restaurant, according to the Hull Daily Mail.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Erica. Now it's time for the local sports news.
Let's start with club news, including bank holiday results. It's been reported in the national press that West Ham have had a bid worth up to £3 million for striker Nikita Jelavic accepted by Championship side Hull City. The Croatia international is in London for a medical with the Premier League club. He scored 13 goals in 50 appearances for the Tigers, who were relegated from the top flight last season. Elsewhere, the Tigers saw off the challenge of Preston North End on Saturday and claimed a 2-0 victory, thanks to goals from Abel Hernandez and Curtis Davis, leaving Bruce's men with 10 points from a possible 15 after the opening 5 games of the campaign. Grimsby Town lost to Macclesfield Town at 2-0 at Blundell Park. The Mariners side say they dominated the game in terms of possession and territory, but they were unable to make it count on the scoreboard. And Scunthorpe United drew 2-2 with Colchester away. They face Barnsley at home tonight for the Johnson's Paint Trophy. And Ferriby's unbeaten run continues with another draw at the weekend. North Ferriby United 0 and Lowestoft Town 0. If you have any stories, you can contact us in the usual ways. Until next time.
That's it for tonight. If there's a story you want to share with any of the news team, then go to our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 315 553. Until tomorrow, good night.
Estuary TV weather, sponsored by Grimsby Institute for a brighter future.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Wednesday will be rather cloudy with sunny spells and scattered showers. Feeling cool though with brisk winds and maximum temperatures of 15 degrees. On Thursday there'll be strong winds near the coasts with outbreaks of rain and feeling cool.
Estuary TV weather, sponsored by Grimsby Institute for a brighter future.